I've been seeing a lot of comments and discussions and deliberations where saying that Erling Haaland deserves the Ballon d'Or over Lionel Messi, which not having that because just because Haaland is on course to winning a treble. The keyword being on course, by the way, because compared to Messi, who's won the World Cup, which is the World Cup. I mean, bro, the World Cup is the biggest competition. It's always been the biggest competition. And never in the history have we always downgraded the World Cup in favor of a treble, a Champions League, this, that, and the other. But why? Because it's messy, because it's there's a lot of agenda going on against French league players in general, and all of this whatever discussions you want to throw at it. Just because Messi won the World Cup 6 months ago doesn't mean people get to have a selective memory. Because let's face it, Haaland is an elite player. He will win the Ballon d'Or one day, but it cannot be this season. It should not be this season because somebody's literally won the World Cup there, right? Like, bro, hello. The World Cup is the biggest competition. I don't have to repeat myself over and over again regarding that fact. The fact that people are relegating it to, oh, but it's just seven good games. It's just a knockout competition. These same English YouTubers and people, if that was Harry Kane who in England who won the World Cup, they would be working then the entire online space for him to win the Ballon d'Or, right? But just because it's another player, it's not important anymore. And yeah, all these people saying the French league is not good. The World Cup is just seven games. Haaland has 50 plus goals. Yeah, Haaland has 50 plus goals, and fair enough. Well done. I mean, Haaland is incredible. There is nothing that I say, nothing that anyone else can say can take away his season from him. But he's unfortunately on the wrong side of history, where on the other hand, there is a World Cup winner, there's a potential League One winner, there's somebody who has GA in such a ridiculous number, even at the age of 35. That is actually peak for anybody to be achieving that. And the so-called discourse of how everyone was running their mouth before this World Cup saying like, oh, but Maradona will always be better than Messi. Why? Because he has a World Cup to his name. And now that Messi has a World Cup to his name, oh, suddenly the goalposts have moved, everything else has changed. Oh, it's Erling Haaland's Ballon d'Or to win and all that. People have a very, very selective memory, and they shouldn't be allowed to do that because the World Cup is, again, I'm at the risk of repeating myself here, the biggest prize in football history, and never should that be a fact, a relegated factor. We have seen multiple footballers have a strong case or even win the Ballon d'Or because of the World Cup and not because of anything else. Luka Modric, a major example that comes to mind. The guy, ideally, if this was, oh, he didn't win the World Cup, but he still won it. Why? Because he was the best player of the World Cup. Otherwise, the award could have just been given to Ronaldo, right? Messi won the World Cup, so that should automatically send him to the top. Messi did it at the biggest stage, completed the best story in modern football, and sort of made the whole season his own. And yeah, it's a little unfair that he gets a pass for being, uh, that he won the biggest prize in December, and everybody thinks that okay, he's a Ballon d'Or frontrunner, but he's been exceptional since December. Not many of us watch Liga, fair enough, but if you look at the stats, you look at the way he's playing, you look at highlights, you look at literally everything. He leads every other attacking metric, and yeah, he plays for a Farmers League. So what? The same energy wasn't there for Mbappe. The same energy wasn't there for little Neymar, who was a Ballon d'Or worthy winner before the World Cup happened, and he got injured after that. The World Cup is the place where you shine, and the fact that Messi did it to the mediocre Argentina team, the fact that he's doing it to the PSG super team, is reason enough for him to get the Ballon d'Or. And yeah, commiserations to Erling Haaland. I mean, this is the season of his life, and if he's still going to miss out on it, that's unfortunate. But yeah, he will have more of these seasons. Messi will no longer be there when he has set these set seasons, and he will win the Ballon d'Or in the future. And for him to just for people to just go, oh, three trophies, give him the Ballon d'Or. No, Messi won the biggest prize, and all those three trophies combined, in my opinion, are not worth the World Cup. And it's not like he was a side man in the World Cup. This is not anyone saying, oh, Julian Alvarez should be winning the World Cup, which is a fair shout, by the way, if you're going by trophies and that. But Messi was the main guy. Every other match, he was man of the match. He was deciding games of his own. He had one goal away from the Golden Boot. Yeah, nothing to say in that regard. And Haaland has scored many goals, and I've lost count of how many he scored at this point. And unlike Rory Jennings, who, by the way, this whole video is based on saying that Messi had an average World Cup, this is the same guy who said Haaland won't score 15 goals in a season. So take his opinion and the other people's opinion with a grain of salt. So that's where I'm at this moment. I feel like this conversation around Messi not deserving the Ballon d'Or is a complete farce. It's logically ridiculous that people just have no memory of the greatest month football has seen in a long time. And yeah, Okay, yeah, it is a knockout competition. There's a lot of luck involved, but if you don't give it to the best player who won it at the biggest occasion, and there is nothing else for me to add in that regard. The Champions League, yes, Haaland could score 6 goals in the final. It's still inferior to the World Cup. Unfortunately, it is. So, as much as good as Haaland has been, I think personally he's been the second best player in the world, and that's a pretty reasonable finishing runner-up spot. Fair enough. I mean, he's done exceptionally well this season, but you can't give it to anyone else but Messi because he performed when it mattered, and he stepped up for his team, both club and country. And yeah, he did not win the Champions League. We've seen winners without the Champions League a lot of times over the past. So why should this year be any different? So thank you for watching. This was a video that had to be done because it's a common discourse apparently that it's apparently not that unpopular an opinion that Haaland should win the Ballon d'Or, which in my opinion I'm not having that. So if you made it this far, make sure to smash the like, do the subscribe, all those things. And I will see you for the next video. And hopefully Messi does win the Ballon d'Or whenever the season ends. And well done to Haaland, exceptional season. I am so delighted to see a goal scorer become this exceptional in world football because normally goal scorers don't get the credit they deserve. Because football discourse has now become, oh, it's service and all that. So Haaland shushing his critics, well done. But I feel like this season is Messi's and Messi is alone. So thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I am Pranav and I will see you for the next video.